Welcome to the South Ops Fire Weather Webcast for Wednesday, July 29th. I'm your host, Kristen Stewart. The dominant area of high pressure over the western U.S. has been weakened a little by a trough nudging into the Pacific Northwest over the last couple days, so the marine layer has been able to slowly rebuild. There are more widespread low clouds blanketing the coastal plains and even some of the lower coastal valleys as well. Clearing will be a little slower this morning due to the larger area of cloud cover, but there should be plentiful sunshine across the entire region by late this morning. Over the past several weeks, we have been in a very persistent weather pattern with high pressure remaining dominant across the western U.S., keeping most areas hot and dry, at least away from any monsoonal activity. As we go through the back half of this week and move into early August, we will continue to be under the influence of this persistent pattern. The high had weakened a little and shifted eastward this past weekend and earlier this week, loosening its grip just a little bit, leading to a little bit of cooling along with higher humidity and a deeper marine layer. The center will become much stronger and shift closer to Southern California Friday through the weekend, leading to another burst of extreme heat and very low humidity without any marine layer or monsoonal relief. It is expected to weaken again early next week, though still remain quite dominant. Plenty of uncertainty remains in the forecast for the second half of next week, as models are struggling with how the dominant high pressure will evolve. With the high pressure having weakened a little and the center pretty far to our east, temperatures across the region will remain around 5 degrees above seasonal averages today. Highs in the mid-90s to around 100 will be common across the valleys, 80s to low 90s common closer to the coast and the lower mountains, and around 110 to 115 for the low desert. Humidity this afternoon will remain mostly in the 10 to 20% range across much of the interior. The positioning of the high is also unfavorable for much in the way of any monsoonal activity today, so most afternoon thunderstorms will remain to our east. Things are going to get more concerning as we move into the Friday through the weekend time frame. With high pressure becoming stronger and shifting closer to Southern California, temperatures will warm even further late this week through the weekend. Highs will soar to at least 15 degrees above seasonal average, with 100 to 108 common across the valleys, 90s closer to the coast for the lower mountains, and 115 to 120 for the low desert, peaking on Saturday. There will also be very little in the way of cooling during the overnight hours, particularly away from the immediate coastline and in the low to mid elevations across the interior. Due to the very hot afternoon temperatures and lack of overnight cooling, much of central and southern California is once again under heat advisories and extreme heat warnings during the Friday through Sunday timeframe. In addition to the extreme heat, the strengthening high pressure over Southern California will lead to very dry conditions away from the coastline. Minimum humidity in the 5 to 15% range will become more widespread across the interior, with more expansive fair to poor overnight recoveries expected. The marine layer will become very shallow to non-existent by the weekend, so humidity across the inland coastal plains will become lower as well, with pretty much no low cloud cover expected. As we move into the beginning of next week, the high pressure will weaken a little bit, although there remains plenty of uncertainty as to how the overall pattern will evolve for the rest of the week. Temperatures will probably cool back down next week, but still remain very hot overall. Humidity will also trend upward a little as well, but still remain very dry overall. To no surprise, with the increasingly hot and dry weather late this week, all classes of fuels will be on drying trends. Live fuel moistures will be getting closer to critical levels if they are not there already, especially around 4,000 feet and below. ERCs will also be on rapid rising trends, getting towards the 97th percentile or higher across several PSAs, which we have not yet seen this year. All in all, there is increasing confidence that we'll see our most critical burn environment of the year so far as we close out the month of July. The large fire potential will continue to rise as we go through the rest of this week, and we are finally trending above seasonal levels after spending much of the season on the quieter side. Even though we are not concerned about lightning or strong wind, historically, these very hot and dry patterns have produced some of our most significant fire events. During the hottest and driest days of the period, specifically Friday through Sunday, the forecast continues to indicate high risks for a critical burn environment across a handful of PSAs that are expected to have the best overlap of hot temperatures and low humidity with poor recoveries. These areas include the interior Central Coast, Sierra foothills, and the western and southern mountains, which have demonstrated that live fuel conditions are at or approaching critical levels and capable of contributing strongly to fire spread. As a result, our large fire potential will be at the highest level it has been so far this year. And that's all I have for today. Thanks for tuning in. Our next webcast will be on Thursday, July 30th. Have a fantastic day.